Hey. Good morning. It is 10 something on the East Coast. 10,
23.
10:23. We're late because I overslept this morning. I apologize. Boogie with the Bull Monday morning caffeine. Randy, the genealogist Rhodes, who's with me. Randy was on time. He was waiting for me to send him the link. And unfortunately, I was stuck somewhere between enjoying the dream that I was in that I actually don't remember now that I'm awake and not wanting to get out of bed.
There you go.
So now that day meds have hit my system and caffeine is on my desk, we're all set and ready to go. We're live on the Dave Golovin profile here on Facebook. And if I scroll down far enough, yep, we're live on the Dave Golovin profile on Facebook like we're supposed to be. Soon we'll be in a bunch of Facebook groups. We're live on the Boogie with the Bull YouTube channel, also with a live chat. Many of my friends that watch the broadcast go to YouTube and watch the podcast. So what I have said to some of them is that from time to time, you should go over and watch it on the YouTube channel. You'll be in the YouTube live chat, but if you bring a bunch of friends of yours that you know, go over to YouTube and watch stuff on YouTube all day long over into the live chat on the YouTube side. We'll have a live chat going on the YouTube side. Otherwise, stay here on Facebook and keep kicking us high numbers on Facebook. But good morning, Dr. Rhodes. Did you see my note on your broadcast last night? I said, good evening, Professor Rhodes.
Yeah, I know
I'm sorry I was late.
You keep giving me promotions.
Well, I was waiting to see if you were going to say anything, and then unfortunately, my headphones that are supposed to last about 2 hours on a charge crapped out, lasted about 2.5 minutes.
Yeah, unfortunately, when I send out my broadcast to different groups, I can't see all the comments. I don't know where to look for the primary source of comments. I finally found you, but
it would be your link to your profile. So when you're live on your profile is the only Facebook chat that you're going to see on StreamYard or Restream, whichever one you're using, because it takes that becomes your home chat. That's the one that you see, or you link it to a page and you use the page or a group, and that's your main live chat. For me, it's the Boogie with the Bull. It's the live chat on the post on my page. It's supposed to work where they are supposed to group everything from every group that you send it to on Facebook and slam them into one live chat, but it doesn't work. Also on Facebook, they say Restream says it doesn't work because Facebook controls all of that, and Facebook hasn't made that technology available to Restream yet. Every once in a while, Restream will send you an email and ask you to vote on it, and they send it to Facebook, and they keep telling me that one day Facebook will see enough votes and they'll do it. But anyway, I digress. It's Monday morning. We'll take our celebratory sip of caffeine to get this week started.
So when we were in the green room back in the studio, you're asking me for various topics to discuss. So the one that I wanted to talk about right off the bat is those poor people up in the space lab, or you guys call it now, the ISS station or something like that. It's only supposed to be an 8-day excursion. It's sort of like Lost in Space. It's only supposed to be a there and back, scenario, and lost in space. Well, they're not lost in space. They're just lost orbiting the planet, because the Boeing is having issues connecting their shuttles to the station to remove these people. So, like Elon Musk, and I want to talk about him in a minute. To remind me to bring him up again because I saw him really neat.
He's getting more coverage on Facebook than he is on X lately.
So Elon has his SpaceX phenomenal system. And this guy has shitload of money. I mean, people dream of having
One,
yeah,
he is
yeah,
he is one or two all the time. Bernard Emerald, I believe is how you say his last name, is a wealthy, very wealthy entrepreneur in the fashion end. That he
yeah,
owns several fashion houses and several high end fashion stores,
yeah.
and he and Elon flip flop depending on what day of the week it is, and if Bernie buys a new business, then all of a sudden, and it's making money, then
Yeah.
all of a sudden he's on top, and Elon drops because
Yeah.
Elon only owns the two or three companies that he owns.
Anyways, so Elon Musk was getting ready to send his rocket Falcon 9 up to take off to the astronauts. 'Cause I guess it's not large enough to take them all at one time. So it was only minutes from liftoff when they had a crack in their fuel system, and they had to ground the Falcons to find out
Was
what
it
the
the
hell
Biden
happened.
administration or was it the soon-to-be Harris administration?
It could be either one. I know it's not Trump because he loves Trump,
Yep.
but so right now those people are still up in space, floating around, not knowing what the hell they're going to do. So that's that. But but I was doing some searching for videos for my broadcast, and I don't know how the hell. Obviously, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube, where they're tracking what I do and what I watch. So they started popping up these videos of Elon Musk in an interview. Okay, and I post them on Facebook. The first interview was about Sasquatch, Bigfoot. Do you believe it?
Yep.
And he does. And he claims that there is an entire civilization of these. I won't call them creatures. I'm going to call them as a species, okay? Because they are above that of just animals, okay, predatory animals. He said there's actually a civilization, a hierarchy of the Sasquatch. There's actually clans, and they're vying for each other's territory, and sometimes they'll go into war against each other. And he has proof of this. So I posted that. And then it's in another interview, a different one, and they're talking about aliens and spacecraft and so forth. And again, and I tell you, I take his word because he has the ability to know what's going on. And he was going on about the aliens, about the spacecraft, about the underground cities going on. He said that the United States actually has a paramilitary group that is
Several.
required to keep the Sasquatch people intact because I guess sometimes their wars get to be to the point where they become more visible to people and they get more involved. So these military people are there to keep them in check, and it's like we have. It just blows my mind to think of the possibility that there are alien civilizations living among us, along with the Sasquatch, and he has the proof. He has the connections to know this stuff is actual real.
Yep.
And it's like, okay, so you know, why hide it? I mean, I would think it would do better to bring it out into the open. Okay, let us know exactly what's going on, so we accept it. To have us be in fear of that little gray man or that alien creature, or even they claim that there's some who have lizard eyes and they're able to. Uh, uh, Time a warp. They go from here to there and nothing. And I mean, stuff like Michael Anthony talks about,
Yep.
and I love Michael Anthony, and there were years where I thought the guy was nuts, but the more I see and read and hear, the stuff that he's bringing out appears to be more factual. And now that Elon Musk is having his videos, his interviews, to lay more weight on the fact that this stuff is real, and it's like, holy shit, I might yet live to see the alien spacecraft come landing down in the middle of Lancaster County and say, take me to your leader, and I take him to Trump. It's wow.
I'm curious if when Trump is back in the White House, I'm curious if Elon Musk will become the director of NASA, even though he owns SpaceX, or whether or not maybe Elon talked to Trump, when you become president, I want to buy NASA and privatize it.
Yeah. I think that would be a good deal because NASA needs to be privatized and allow it to compete. The fact that we are, I don't know how many years past the shuttles, the Apollo shuttle stuff, but to think that we are still trying to get back to the moon if we were there to start with, what the hell happened? How did we did somehow I think the explosion of the shuttle with those astronauts on board has scared so many people into trying to do it again because they don't want that tragic loss to happen again, even though they may have found out why it happened and what steps to take to avoid it from happening again. It almost seems like since that shuttle blew up, we have gone backwards in time to where we're, in the black and white TV series, and we're trying to get the Apollo to the moon. I don't know. It's sad. I mean, think about it.
It's very sad. There it is. Hang on. I'm trying to find. Now I can just say, good morning, Pat O'Griff. Pat O'Griff is watching. She's live on the live chat on the Dave Goldman profile. There's the Boogie with the Bull YouTube channel where they live chat. It's out in, I think, 52 groups this morning. My eyes, like I said, in the green room terrain, my eyes aren't quite 100% focused this morning, so it was a little difficult trying to read the groups. But everybody got it. If you didn't get it, someone share it into all the groups that you're in if you're watching, and then that way it'll get to everybody. Or when my eyes adjust a little back to normal, I'll go and send the podcast everywhere. But yeah, and Michael's a great guy. Michael's got a lot of new, exciting, I don't know, I guess you would call them platforms that he's on. He's got stuff going with Oracle Radio, which is not only internet radio, they're involved with, I don't know if they actually own radio stations or they're sending stuff to AM and FM radio, but he's got a lot of good stuff going. So keep a watch on the Michael Anthony Facebook page, and you'll know of his broadcasts and where and when he will be. But yeah, watch him. Maybe one day we'll get lucky to have him grace a studio screen with us again, but I don't know. Anyway, it's Monday morning and we're here and we're having a good time. What else, Randy?
Well, it looks like the Russian military is finally at a point with the loss of life that they are calling up the draft. So they are draft is for a period of October, 3 months, where they're going to add an additional 133,000 men to the ranks, ages 18 to 30. So, men, if you're listening to me, you listen to this show in Russia, get the hell out of Russia. Because if you're between the ages of 18 and 30, your ass is going to get drafted.
That or do the right thing because you live in Russia and maybe you should serve. Some countries in the world require you to serve. Israel, everybody serves, men, women. I don't know if there's anything else in Israel besides men and women, but men and women in Israel, born in Israel, are required to serve. I don't know if you move to Israel, if you're required to serve, but I know that people born in Israel are required, that are living in Israel, are required to serve.
So there's 510,000 Russian soldiers currently fighting in Russia.
Yep.
They have a total of 2.39 million soldiers in uniform. So if you got that many, why are you doing a draft? I don't understand that.
Well, it's going to end. The Ukraine thing is going to end pretty soon, so most of
Well,
the
they're
will be
talking
back.
about that. There's talk about bringing to an end like North and South Korea came to a treaty and they just split the country and blah blah blah. And Russia said no, that's not the way it's going to end. It's going to end on our terms, and if we have to use nuclear weapons, they're planning to use nuclear weapons. And what I'm seeing here is that the army will now have the authority to announce or not announce when they launch their nuclear missile. So I guess if the military
No,
plans thinks they're in a position they need it, they're going to launch them.
but everybody monitors everybody who has nuclear weapons. So as soon as Russia is stupid enough to fire a nuke on Ukraine, the whole world is going to know, and
Oh yeah.
hopefully the whole world is going to send their nuclear intercepting missiles to to Ukraine or over Ukraine, or our fighters will fly up and go through our allies' airspace into Ukraine, who is an ally with Biden. So, there could be a war in the skies. And, I think the only thing that Putin may be upset with is that he's not going to be the one who launches nuclear Armageddon. You know, I just don't think he's going to fire a nuke. I think he's going to threaten that he's going to do it. I don't think he needs to.
I would think he would have a weapon just a step below a nuclear that would have essentially the same output of explosive power, minus the minus the radioactive element. He has to have something. It's sort of like that bomb that Trump dropped, the mother of all bombs. I mean, that thing took out a mountain. I would think that Putin has a similar weapon that is just shy of radiation that can have the same effect. And why he'd have it's like you keep saying that he must be getting money, or by dragging this shit out, he has to be getting something out of it. Okay, other than the loss of all these men and the
I
now
think
he's
I think on the other side that China may be paying him money, or what might have been paying him money at one time, because the longer Putin made us believe he was at war with Ukraine, the more of our resources were going to Ukraine or being sold to Ukraine to protect Ukraine, leaving us weak, but also not leaving us able to, if China decided to do something and we had to go to war with China at the same time, what are we going to do? But I think China has more nukes than anybody, so they can probably just flip one switch and take us all out. You know,
with everything he has going on, meaning Putin, why in the hell is he doing war games close to Alaska to simulate an attack in Alaska itself? I mean, you would think he would have more important things to do than to train his men to attack the United States.
I don't know. Maybe he's clearing out Russian jails by submarining them into Alaska.
I mean, I'm looking at this piece of equipment that they designed for Arctic use. It's designed to operate under temperatures of minus 58 degrees. Has the ability to travel over solid packed snow, not the fresh fluffy stuff that people like, but the heavy, almost like a you walk on it with us, stepping into it. But this huge piece of equipment, and it has a tank attached to it. But he has these along with the soldiers in the Arctic doing war games to simulate an attack on Alaska. That's like, okay, whatever.
Oh,
Um, okay, let's talk about Hurricane Helene. They're going to
yep.
call Helene, not
Mhm.
Helen. It's
No,
Helene.
Helene.
It wiped,
Has an E on the end. That's Helene.
it wiped out some towns.
Mhm. Up in the north here too, I guess. I haven't seen any where we are. I haven't seen any damage. We didn't lose electricity. Our cable flickered a few times the afternoon before it hit. Then the next morning it flickered a couple of times. We didn't lose electricity. Uh,
Well, I have,
Jerry did. Jerry did, but he's on generators.
yeah.
And a friend of Donna's who was down in Tampa, they lost it. They got it back yesterday, but they lost it. They don't have generators. So,
I mean, this. I'm looking at the video. I don't know if you.
but supposedly we're I guess gearing up for another one, possibly sometime this week.
Really.
The next one.
I
You posted one or a map that showed I think the next one coming, and I think it's supposedly this time this week. At one time, I heard there were four of them lined up, just waiting to come up from Mexico, one after the other. Where they were going, how much damage they were going to do as they came up through Florida. That I can't tell you. Uh, so, but like Jerry hits around and other people do, if you live in Florida, you know to expect this, or you know to be prepared for it all the time. Not just not just uh, not just expect that not just expect that it doesn't happen. I mean, most people move down here from the Northeast so you don't get snow.
and
Okay?
then you went with hurricanes.
We get hurricanes. Yep.
That's why my wife keeps saying, "Why do you want to go down south? It's hot. You have tornadoes. You have hurricanes. Why do I want to stay here?" I used to use the excuse of the snow. We have not gotten snow in 5 years, folks, and I mean that.
Well,
It's
that
been
doesn't mean that just means that all of a sudden the next time you get it, you're gonna get a burying
and
blizzard.
it's going to dump on us. I know, I see it coming, but I used to use that excuse. Well, Claudette, I can't shovel snow anymore. Someone moves, we don't have to worry about shoveling snow. Well,
But
guess what? I can't
aren't
use that
you
for an excuse anymore.
aren't you honorary Amish and they'll come shovel you out because you're connected to the Amish or the Mennonites or
Hell,
both?
but by the time they come on a horse and buggy, it'll be that's the other thing too. When it does, my daughter still lives with us, so when she'll get out and she'll shovel, but uh, I'm not saying this has anything to do with the climate change, but we'll get maybe an inch and a half of snow, right?
Yep.
And by lunchtime, 1 o'clock, the sun comes out and the snow melts. So it's like I'm not saying it's climate control or climate change, but there is shit going on, and it's like you said, one of these days it'll snow and it won't stop snowing until it's. I remember years ago waking up one day and it had snowed, and the snow came up halfway up to my front door. The height of my front door. That's how high it was. We haven't seen something like that in a generation, which is pretty sad. Not that I want the snow, just that it's telling me that something's going on with the weather conditions. Um, but so we talked about Sasquatch, we talked about aliens, we talked about Russia, um, Israel. They are shitting down the necks of those Hamas and coming up smelling like roses. They're wiping them out, and I think they're not going to stop until they've actually eliminated all the men of those tribes to keep them from coming back. What do you think? I can't hear you.
I turned it off because the dogs were barking. But I don't. I think it's just high time that they have to learn to live together in that area of Israel. It does not belong to whoever. Well, it doesn't belong to the Palestinians because the Palestinians didn't have a Palestine, and they haven't had a Palestine for a long time. Whoever had that land, I think it was Egypt, lost it in the 67 war, and it's, for all intents, sakes, and purposes, 1967 to 2024 is a lifetime. It belongs to Israel, and those people need to learn to live together. The Israelis and anybody else who wants to live in that area and work together for the benefit of Israel. But that's never going to happen either.
Yeah, I'm looking at video here of South Lebanon where Israel attacked and F-16.
Maybe it was Lebanon. I don't know. It was somebody over there.
Yeah, F-16s took out some buildings. I'm looking at this, and just like with Ukraine, to a certain degree, a little bit about Russia, the amount of destruction, it's going to take generations to rebuild these buildings. And, I mean, the only people who are making money off of this are the manufacturers of military weapons and the people who are going to go in there and rebuild.
Right here in the United States. Because we're selling it to everybody.
I don't know.
It's
sickening when you think about it.
Yeah. We laundered all this money into Ukraine, so that we really didn't launder it. We took tax money and just gave it to them and told them, here, now you have the money to buy the stuff. We're going to give you all this money, but you have to use it to buy this stuff from us to win the war against Russia. That's not money laundering. That's just stupidity. But
is anyone coming to our help for the destruction from the hurricane? Are there any foreign national governments saying, "Hey, what can we do to help"?
Probably not, because Mexico wants people to be able to get out of Mexico and come here because Mexico didn't want them. Back in the old days, it used to be that you made your way into Mexico, and if you wanted to come here, you went to the United States Embassy and you registered that you had intentions to come here, and you waited in Mexico until you got told that it was okay for you to come over here. And you came here and you went to a legal port of entry, and you came in and you cried, I'm here for asylum, or whatever it is. And, that began. But, Joe Biden turned that off. You don't have to do that anymore. If you get into Mexico, you just get here. Mexico doesn't want them there, so they're going to keep letting them pass. I think Mexico needs to tighten up its northern border, which meets our southern border, and keep them there, and not be so lenient in who they allow to come in their southern border. The caravans walked right through their southern border, all the way through the country. They could have stopped them at any time. They could have shut off entry at the southern border. They could have strengthened the southern border. They probably could have asked for U.S. help strengthening the southern border. And we probably would have agreed to help them, provided they shore up their northern border, which meets our southern border.
Well, that's what Trump had done. Trump had made an arrangement with Mexico to have 25,000 Mexican soldiers on their side while we were building the wall. Of course, that all went screwy when the election was stolen from him.
Yep.
I don't know. I mean,
the wall, the Trump wall being completed, even if it goes through the Indian reservations and doesn't leave any hole in it at all, is not going to stop illegal immigrants from getting into this country, or truckloads of them hopefully trying to get into this country with tractor trailers full of what hopefully isn't dead people. But or the tunnels underground. Have we taken out the tunnels? Have they built new ones? Uh, to me, it's just a big mess. We just have to put our foot down and say, no, you're not coming in here anymore. We need more people down it. We need more border patrol agents down on the border. No more 87,000 IRS agents getting guns to go collect $2.25 in taxes that you didn't pay. No, we don't need that. We need 87,000 new border patrol officers doing the job of keeping people out. It just is crazy to me. After the election and Trump wins, I hope he is true to his word and he starts deporting the illegals that don't belong here. And I mean, if you're illegal, you don't belong here. And that's the tough thing, because eventually it will come up with, well, we got these DACA kids who, DACA is a fancy term for my parents stuck into this country, dragged me with them, and I didn't have any say. And now I'm here. I went to school. I got a job. I'm paying taxes. I'm not legal, but, I'm living like I was. And, my parents aren't legal, and they never were, even when they brought me. But, it all comes down to the same thing. If you came in here illegally, you came in here illegally. So,
wow. Okay.
So the mess, at some point, like I said, it's going to come down to finding, in the course of doing all of these ICE raids, looking for illegal immigrants that came up through Mexico this last time in the caravans and from the jails and mental institutions and every place else Donald Trump swears they came from. We're going to find people who have been here for all these years. Kamala Harris's parents might be illegal. I don't know if they ever became naturalized citizens. I don't know. Well, her father is French.
Well, I can find out.
French, Haitian, I think, and her mother is Indian, meaning from India. So there's no way of knowing whether or not either one of them ever became a naturalized citizen. I would imagine.
Yeah, there is.
I would imagine that Dr. Harris, her mother, because she landed prestigious jobs they moved to Canada when Kamala was 12. I don't know how old her sister was. And Kamala went to high school in Quebec because her mother was teaching, I believe, at a university hospital in Quebec. And I'm sure they did a background check on her, because I don't know if she had to become a citizen of Quebec or at least a legal alien of Quebec. So she had to prove where she was born. Kamala was born here in Oakland. She wasn't born in Canada. She wasn't born outside of the country. She was born here in Oakland, California. Stop looking for bogus birth certificates that say she came illegally like Obama did, because you're not going to find them. You're going to find that she was born in Oakland, California. She grew up under Willie Brown, literally under Willie Brown, the Speaker of the House, the Speaker of the California State Assembly, and worked her way up and got into the Senate, somehow decided to run for president. She wouldn't be allowed to run for president if she wasn't born here, because you're not allowed to do that if you're not born here. Even though the Constitution only says natural citizen. It doesn't say had to be a natural citizen of the United States. Doesn't say you couldn't come here from another country and become a naturalized citizen of the United States. It just says natural citizen. So at some point, that's probably going to have to be clarified. But
I have to admit, I'm impressed with your knowledge of all this. I mean, Do you spend almost the entire day, researching or reading newspapers
No, I
or?
did a lot of reading on her because she kept saying that she was a district attorney that worked her way up to state attorney general. Uh, she had a lot of influential Democrats helping her along the way, and Willie Brown was the guy who got her started. He helped her get elected attorney general. So he, I'm sure, helped her, and a lot of other influential Democrats helped her get elected a U.S. senator from California. And, you know, whether or not that's true or a fake story made to cover up the fact that she, he snuck in the middle of the night from Benghazi, because now it's claimed that she is really Kamal something. Uh, and Kamal, the last name starts with an A, I believe, and that he snuck in. And if you look, or got here illegally somehow, if you look at the pictures of Kamal, very similar facial features, both have very big, protruding, you can't help not noticing them, earlobes that could have supported
Oh my god!
Bluetooth earrings, but
Oh my god! You're killing me.
you know, uh, and Donald Trump's not going to town on her if there are any questions of whether or not she is really a he, and or whether or not she's not born here or not. I'm sure because she has a birth certificate. She has a birth certificate that's issued by a hospital, as opposed to Barack Obama appearing to have a birth certificate saying he was born in Hawaii, whether or not he was, and an aunt who evidently was responsible in the city records department and got him a social security number that may or may not be his.
The sad thing is that no matter what, born here, birth certificate, blah 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 blah. As long as these people are freaking in power, nothing that we say or do or prove is going to do a damn thing because they control everything to cover it up and make us disappear. I mean, let's say you and I continue to have shows and we're demeaning Hillary or Kamala or Michelle or Michael Obama, whatever you want to call her. As long if they can make us disappear,
Well,
and
okay, those people can make you disappear. The unfortunate thing is that we have this thing called Facebook that's owned by this thing called Meta, and Meta has rules and regulations that they have to follow. And they're evidently getting a free pass because the FCC, who has the regulatory authority, is not enforcing the rules.
we'll see.
Facebook, literally, from the way Facebook is set up and granted permission to be on the internet, is a public forum and doesn't have the right to say we can't be here doing shows talking about things that Facebook doesn't like. It doesn't matter. And that's all the more reason why we should be here, is what Section 230 says for public forums. No fact checking, because everything is public opinion. And you can't fact check a person's opinion. And if you really want to see me ram it to Facebook about fact checking, they hire what they call certified fact checkers from this International Fact Checking Association, which is legit. It's a legitimate fact checking association, to go and find things that back articles that back up their point of view, and your point of view is wrong because it doesn't agree with them. That's the game that's going on here.
You're right. I mean, we have these fact checking things going on, okay? And it's like, okay, so let's say I say, the sky is black when it's actually blue. And I get fact check and they say, no, the sky is purple, not black, and not blue. Uh, but because they're the fact checkers, their answer is going to be correct. So it's like you said, and I've heard this phrase before. Who was checking the fact checkers?
Well, no one's checking the fact checkers because Facebook knows that no one has to check the fact checkers because there shouldn't be fact checkers. Facebook has the right, if I post something and I say, I believe Kamala Harris was born in Oakland, California for the purpose of being an anchor baby so that her father, who was teaching Marxism, communism, whatever else isms you want to claim at at Stanford University, could legally become a United States citizen because he and his wife gave birth to a child in the United States. So that child now has dual citizenship, and naturally, a baby that is born through 18 is considered a minor. So the parents had to stay here to watch and grow their baby. Well, actually not, because if they were caught living here illegally, they could have been deported. The baby could have stayed here. They would have had, they would either child services either would have found relatives here for her to live with or put her up for adoption.
Yeah.
And put her in foster care and try to adopt her. But, I think he has to stay away from all the stuff like Obama and just stick to the issues, because there's enough issues if you look at who and what she was and who and what she did. I'm back to my original question. Name one thing she did as a senator that qualified her to become vice president. Name one thing she did as vice president that qualified her to become president.
Well,
Also, if she had knowledge of Joe Biden stealing documents when he was a senator, like she was, because they were there together, and she didn't say anything, she's as guilty as he is.
Right. But again, back to my comment, as long as they're in control of everything, they could do whatever the hell they want illegally and get away with it,
right,
until the White House is turned back over to Republicans, and if that Republican or those in Congress and Senate have the balls to go after them.
Well, and it's even more than that. It's because that Republican, that male or female Republican that gets elected, is going to have to do a lot. Their attorney general is going to be charged with prosecuting a lot of this. And God forbid we don't elect a Republican president in 2028. The Democrats are going to come back in 2028 and just turn it right back around.
Yeah.
And
that's why I like the idea of a king. The guy. I mean, a king can be overthrown if he starts becoming a ruffian. But if you have a king who truly loves his citizens and is doing everything possible to keep them safe, have a nice warm home, food in their belly, keep him in power. If you start screwing things up, that's when you have your military goes and they go and they cut his head off. But this whole thing about switching every 4 years makes absolutely no sense, because 4 years is not enough time to undo 8 years of bullshit, especially if after your 4 years is up, the Democrats can put back in anyway, because they're going to undo everything you did.
Well, Washington originally was going to turn down becoming president because he was afraid it would become king. He had the chance, I guess, to be crowned king, and he didn't want it.
Yeah, he didn't want to be king.
He didn't want to be king. Why? Because they were leaving an oppressive king to come and start a new country. So why would we have a king? Why would we have a future family of male or female Washingtons who are going to be the ruler? And would it be any different if the Washington family was the dynasty of kings even up to today?
Yeah.
You know, I just think that the 4-year term is probably good only because I think in your first year you really learn what you can and can't do. Second, third year you actually do it. Wow. Getting ready to go. Third year, you're starting to write your books, which goes into the fourth year. You're looking for your library, and it's time to go. Unless you think you're gonna want a second term, in which case, the day you get elected, you start working on your next term, your second term. But I don't know.
I just think that 4 years is not enough time to first undo. He's going to spend at least to do it right first 1 or 2 years to completely undo and read and put back into place his programs that the Democrats have
But
changed.
but it may take that long to get them up and running. I don't know. It may take less because he's the only one who has the experience. He knows as a president, unless you think really, you're going to want a second term, in which what they undid and what he needs to re-implement. And mainly, it's just that part of it's a battle of executive order wars with Joe Biden, because most of what Joe Biden did was by executive order, and Congress can't undo an executive order. The only one that can undo it is Trump or the next vice president. And they both lied, Trump and Biden, about there are some executive orders, if you go look, that are still there and go back to presidents before them. Not every executive order that Biden wrote was removed by Trump. The bulk of them were. The ones that were stupid, tax policy crap and border stuff, maybe. But Obama is the one who, in the net neutrality executive order, reclassified the internet as a telephone company and gave regulatory authority to the FCC. That stayed into effect through Obama, through Trump, into Biden. Doesn't really help because no one at the FCC is doing anything. But and I don't even want to talk about it anymore because Trump will run and Trump will say that, if you liked me on Twitter while I was president, after Facebook kicked me off and before Twitter kicked me off and Elon Musk allowed me to come back, you're going to love me on Truth Social. So,
the news has the newsreel has refreshed, so I'm looking at something new here. Just give me a second to read it here. Apparently, Russia is threatening Poland and other NATO allies that he's going to attack them. Let's see why.
Well, the problem that I have with all of that is he's saying what he's going to do, yet Zelensky and Trump are talking like there's already a settlement in the works. So it kind of makes it look stupid.
Okay, so they're saying
for Putin to do anymore and wait to see what happens with that.
So Putin's military hierarchy is saying that if there's an attack on Belarus, that's going to be it. Okay. That's going to be that's the red line that they won't allow to happen. Okay, Putin has issued a dire warning while speaking to students in Minsk. He announced that an attack on Belarus would be the catalyst for World War III and indicated that NATO's advancement into Belarusian territory would be crossing a red line that he just can't let go. So where the hell is Belarus? I mean, I never heard of that.
Is it Belarus?
Okay, that could be it. Yeah, okay,
Yeah.
I'll take that.
I'm not exactly sure where it is. I know it is. It's close to the area around. I don't know if it's actually still part of Russia,
Well,
or if it's in the area around Poland and Ukraine.
Let's do a quick looky here.
That is already separate. But like I said, if Zelensky and Kamala Harris are sitting at the White House and taking pictures together and talking about a settlement being in the works, and Trump and Zelensky are walking around taking pictures, talking about a settlement is in the works, to me, it would make no sense for Putin to try to launch this thing and make it a bigger conflict than it already is, because if Trump gets back into the White House and Zelensky Putin destroyed this, it's going to look bad for Putin. Because I think the whole world is going to come running back to the United States support when Trump is back in the White House. And a lot of it's going to be, can you ever forgive us for thinking that Joe Biden was the way of the future? And of course he's going to forgive them. I'm just going to say,
okay,
you owe us all this NATO money. You owe us all this other money. You owe us all the tariff taxes that you owe us, and this and that. And you got to start sending our manufacturing company jobs back to the United States. And some of the reports that Trump gets hit for, Trump got hit.
Ding, 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 ding.
Well, he got hit.
Chris Christopherson's dead.
Yeah, he died. I read that yesterday. Maui, Hawaii.
Why do I even try? Okay, I'll just sit here.
Donna actually read it.
You forgot.
Donna said it to me. And then because dementia is remembering things old in the past, he was one of the highwaymen, and the highwaymen was Johnny Cash, Waylon Jennings, I believe, Willie Nelson, and I think one other person. And I think maybe it was just Willie, Waylon, and Johnny Cash. Then I believe when Waylon Jennings died is when Chris Christopherson came in. But I seem to remember that there were 4 originals, and then Chris Christopherson came in. But I could be wrong. I have to go look that up and straighten out that part of my memory. Plus, it's music, and music I'm usually pretty good at. When someone says on Facebook a musician died, I usually go right to their Wikipedia page to confirm whether or not they died. Because on Facebook, everybody died. I'm waiting for somebody to post on Facebook, I died. I do read a lot. I do watch a lot. I watch a lot of YouTube. We have members in different groups that we have that take specific things off of YouTube each day. We have people on Facebook that make YouTube broadcasts every day. So there's a lot to read and a lot to learn. Oh, it says it's waiting for my signal. So I don't know if we lost our signal on Facebook. Hang on for a second. No, it says we're still live. Lost the live chat for a second there, but I don't know. Oh, that tab has
it's just I hate to say it, but you become so much aware of how short life is when you lose a father or a mother or a grandparent, and then the Hollywood people, the musicians that you grew up listening to, like Chris Christopherson, Roy Clark, Johnny Cash.
Yep.
When they start dying off, it makes you realize that, damn, you know,
It
life is
makes me
pretty
laugh
short.
every time you say that the Dixie group that is doing. That's the problem with dementia. You can't remember things right in the present. But you say that you would put the Dixie group up against Roy
Roy
Clark,
Clark. Oh yeah,
Roy
yeah.
Clark anytime, and I chuckle every time you say that because I go, well, Roy Clark is dead. I mean, I'd like to see it
Well,
happen.
okay, yeah, okay.
There's been a lot of times where Roy scaled it back in a challenge against someone
He did.
to
I
really let them show their stuff.
I saw.
And at times he let them win because they needed to
Okay,
win.
yeah, I saw a video of him playing beside this kid. This kid
Yeah,
must have been 10, 12, 14 years old, maybe.
yeah, he was on
And
Hee Haw,
yeah, and I would
little
tell you
short blonde
what.
haired, little short blonde haired boy.
Yeah, obviously, it made it look like like Roy Clark was sweating and struggling to keep up with the kid, but
Yeah,
holy shit, that kid could tear up a banjo.
but he had, in theory, the king of country had to do that
Right.
because if he Roy Clark the kid and blew him off the stage, the kid would be crushed
Yeah.
and probably give up his future, which obviously from God is country music. That's
And
where he was meant to be.
and I did do a follow up. I did, Google the kid's name, and he didn't age very well, but he was still playing the banjo with a small group. So
Yeah.
he didn't become a huge success, but he was still in the business. Like I said, probably if he would have aged, you have these child actors, right? Oh, they're so cute, and they do like 3, 4, 5, 6 movies back to back, and then they hit that damn age where they turn ugly. Like all of a sudden, Hollywood wants nothing to do with them because they can't, they don't
No,
look good on a camera
right.
anymore.
But sometimes Hollywood will be nice and they'll write them in. Like the kid that was playing Harry Potter is actually now, I guess, in the movies, is the son of Harry Potter. And Harry Potter and what's her name got married
Yeah,
and had kids. So I like when that happens, or kind of the opposite of Jim Parsons, who played Sheldon on Big Bang Theory. He was old and he wasn't, I'm sure, wasn't considered the most best looking kid. The kid that played him in Young Sheldon really wasn't anything to win contests, I'm sure, either. But my point was that you got to further the new crop into country by letting them win in the beginning, and then when everybody sees how good they are, then yeah, you invite them to your concert, and you do a serious hardcore whatever, and then at the end of the concert, you bring the kid on stage, you let the audience vote by applause, who won.
yeah.
Hopefully, they're going to say that kid did.
I remember, my God, I remember back in the day in high school, to raise money for something that the high school, you know, uh, whatever committee chose. They had their bias slave for a day,
Yeah,
which obviously would not fly well today. But it was, you'd have, they stand up on the stage, and you would, $5, $10, and then for the rest of that day, that person, had to carry your school books, your textbooks, or get your lunch for you, stuff like that.
yeah.
Yeah, I
I
remember
had
those days.
I don't remember which groups in high school I did it for.
Oh, wait. The other day, I don't know if you saw my comment. You're talking about religion and how churches shouldn't be taxed, blah 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 blah, and it shouldn't be taught in school. 1977 in high school. we had clubs, okay?
Mhm.
And there's all kinds of different clubs, rifle club, chess club, blah, blah, blah club. There also was a Bible club. So if you wanted to join and you were a Christian, you could join this Bible
Right.
club. I agree that if you can't accommodate every religion,
Well,
okay,
right.
that there is to teach either a class on,
Well,
such as
it's not necessarily force a club on every religion, but if you have a student at the school or students at that school who are members of that religion and you have a Christian club, then you have to have a devil
correct,
worshipper
correct. Yeah,
club.
that's what I'm
And
saying. Yeah,
that's the problem, because when parents start going to the school board, it's we can't have a devil worshippers club
yeah.
at our
There is
public
that.
school. And then
But
if it was me on the school board, I'd be looking at him and I would say to them, "What are you? We're Catholic." And then someone else is there. I say, "What are you? We're Episcopalian. We're this. We're that." You all have clubs on campus. What if a devil worshiping family moves into the school area and they're going to the school and the parents say, "You have all these religious clubs, but you don't have a devil worshippers club"? Well, you got to have one.
yeah,
But then it goes through everything else. The straight parents don't want LGBTQ, ABCDEFG, all the numbers and emojis behind a club. They don't want that club, but they have a straight club.
yeah.
And to me, it's in the public schools, you have to expose them to everything that is public. If you're a private school, if you're a Catholic private school, you're not likely to have a devil worshippers club, because you're not likely to have devil worshippers in that are avowed, that let you know that they are devil worshippers going to your school. And your curriculum is based on how your religion wants your kids taught the things they need to learn. So, that's my thing about the public schools. If you don't want it in the public schools, it's obviously something. There's a reason why you don't want it. Teaching the philosophy and getting into philosophical conversations with students about you're a boy and you should think about becoming a girl. You don't get into that philosophical conversation with a preschooler or a kindergartner or a first grader.
They don't understand.
Right. But then again, Donna had preschoolers who had two dads or two moms, and kids who had the conventional mom and dad, or had a dad or had a mom and didn't have a mom or a dad. And the kids would see a kid get dropped off and it might be two dads, and the other kids might ask, "Who are they?" "They're my dads." And you know what? Great. Like it went in one ear and out the other, because it really didn't matter to them. And they liked the kids, so they would all play together every day. What's the word I want? Discrimination isn't, you're not born discriminate. You learn discrimination. Someone teaches you don't like something, and that's wrong. Okay? And so all I'm trying to say is that maybe in the later years in school, maybe after high school, when you're in college and you're in a philosophy class, maybe then you have those conversations. When someone's over 18 and they're an adult, and they now control what happens to their body, or think they control what happens to their body, until they're 21 when they are an adult and they're supposed to control what happens to their body. That's okay. But going into a preschool where a kid is 4 or 5 years old and doesn't know any better, and saying, "You really should become a girl," and then doing the steps to convert you to a girl, and then sending you home to your parents, who all of a sudden realize that John is now Jane. No, 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 no. But then again, because you might have two dads or two moms or a mom and dad that believe in different things, taking you as a 5-year-old kid to watch drag queens because it's entertaining isn't that at a place that does it all the time is different. If someone wants to dress as a drag queen and they're an adult and function as a drag queen, they have a right to do that. And some of them are we have Lady MAGA USA, very well known for going to MAGA events all over the country, but and people will show up a lot of times and give her trouble over what he does. He does what he wants to do. That's his job. He's very good at it. He's a Trump supporter. So, it's different. But this, because you're in the public school, we're going to tell you, the government's going to tell you what you're going to be, what you're going to become, how you're going to do it. No, wrong. Not your place, not your job. But go ahead. A little bit of a mini rant there.
No, that's okay. I kind of laugh when I hear you go off like that. Our world is complicated.
It is.
It's getting more complicated because the left is just allowing the next generations to live life the way they want to, and it's sort of like during the time of the COVID, where the left gave the renters the option to if they wanted to pay their rent or not to pay their rent, but they didn't give the same option to the owner of the property because he still had to maintain payment to the bank in order to keep the deed. But the guy who's renting can choose not to pay the rent, even though he knows it's his responsibility.
Well,
and he may have an income coming in. He can choose not to pay. Or I wake up today and I want to dress in women's clothes. I can do it. If I wanted to.
But you're an adult, so no one's going to tell you.
Yeah, okay.
No one's going to tell you that you can't. Well, I mean, people are going to tell you that you can't do that, and it goes in one ear and it goes out the other, and you're going to do what you want to do. But my point is, you don't go to a 5-year-old child and say, you're going to make this change because this is what we want you to do. They don't understand.
Exactly. So when the mommy dresses the boy up like in girls' clothes, they think this is normal for them. I mean,
not necessarily that, but I mean, there's a lot. I mean,
there's this boy who is making money now, dressing up in girls' clothes and doing the whole makeup and wig, and he's going around on talk shows and stuff, and he's strutting his stuff, and he's because his mom wanted a girl. And they're making money off of this kid who is sexualizing himself, and the people in the audience go absolutely berserk, screaming and hollering and clapping and giving him all this praise because they think it's phenomenal.
They think it's funny. They think it's entertainment. And the sad thing is when the kid is 18 years old, he's going to one day say to mom,
"What the hell did you do to me?
I am not your daughter." I hope he does it earlier. I am not your daughter. I'm not your daughter. And maybe what he'll do is he'll go public. I'm not a girl. It's just a role that I created because my mom or dad or whatever We all just sat down and created it one day, and I just do it.
Yeah,
And I liked doing it, but it's not who I am. I am a guy, you know.
Well,
I am a guy, and I
look,
like doing what I do, but it's what I've done all my life. But I don't know. It's gonna be years of therapy anyway.
it's
Most of the time, they don't come out and go against their parents because obviously you don't go against your parents. Stage moms, stage dads are very hard to go against.
It's sort of like that black comedian. He also pretended to be a woman on his show.
Flip Wilson, Geraldine.
Yeah, Flip Wilson.
Yes, I do know everything.
You do. I mean, your memory is still a damn trip.
Flip Wilson's head writer, I believe, went on to become one of Johnny Carson's head writers, and he went to college with my dad. So we got tickets all the time, every once in a while, to go be in the audience of the Flip Wilson show.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
I
remember he did Geraldine that night too.
You remember Captain Kangaroo?
Yep.
When I was a teenager, I had a job working as a waiter at this hotel, and the guy with the guy that worked with them had the jeans. Part of his name was Jeans because he wore those overall jeans.
Mr. Green Jeans.
Yes, Mr. Green Jeans.
Well, that was the name of the character. I don't know
his name, but he was there doing an act. I want to tell you what, you talk about filthy mouth comedian. Oh my, I couldn't believe the shit coming out of his mouth. It was nuts, but I have to get going. It's 11:30.
11:30.
I know we started late, but I think we're going on to the hour now.
Yeah, we did. We were an hour and 16 minutes, so we made up our time.
Yeah, tomorrow's show, Jen's been picking the main topic, and then we have open discussion about her main topic tomorrow. And I don't know why she chose it, but it's going to be a hot wire. It's about transgenders, and she sent me this video, and there's no way in hell I'm going to replay it on the show because I'll catch all kinds of holy hell. But she sent me this video. This conservative zone out asking questions. What is a woman? And I don't know where this guy was, but this how did you describe this? This person walked up. The person had the lower half of the hair was shaved, just the hair on the top. The person was not wearing any top, so bare chested, and obviously she had boobs because the camera blacked out that part of her chest. So I'm not sure if she was a woman transgender into a guy or vice versa, but he kept asking her, "What is a woman?" or asking it, "What is a woman?" And the person kept coming back with anything other than the answer he was looking for.
Right.
Your
brain tells you whether or not you are. Your brain was born to be a boy. Your brain was born to be a girl. You can't. What the scientists seem to tell me on both sides, the left side doesn't seem to acknowledge it as much. But the scientists on the right side say you can't change that programming. You can give it hormones to grow different parts of your body. You can have surgery done to accentuate parts of your body. But they say it's still a boy.
Yeah. So my show comes up Sunday for On the Road to Discovering Ancestors. It's going to be about witchcraft. One of my clients was accused of being a witch.
Well, didn't you say that one of Jen's relatives was a witch hunter?
Yes, a witch hunter, yes.
Oh, God.
Yeah. So, yeah, and if you ever get a chance, I'll shoot you the questionnaire that I need to recreate your tree. If you're really serious on going back and researching that to a certain point. Now,
Well, we never found anybody famous like I do have a
well,
relative who was the Mayflower Madam.
well, it's not. It's
I'm
not.
not related to
Well,
Clint
it's,
Clint Eastwood.
it's not that. It's just that that one point when there was that major blow up and I deleted your tree. I had not gone back that far.
That's okay.
Because one of the problems I was running into was, and you're not the only one. It seems that Jewish people are very difficult to research. Because I actually have a friend, she is Jewish, and I started having problems with the names of her ancestors because they were just like you. You had
It
the same.
appears it
Uh,
appears that there are two sets of
yeah,
great
there is. Yes,
grandparents that are
yes,
both named Abraham Glovinsky.
correct. And the
One
problem I was having
married one married someone from England, and I don't believe that we are related to that leg of Glovinsky's. But the funny thing about it, like you were going to say, is yes, it's either they reported things differently two times, and it's the same family, but something must have got changed at some point because it's like both sets seem to have like 11 sons and one daughter.
yeah.
Both seem to have a both seem to have a wife who had been married before and had a daughter. So I think it's actually just different things got reported at different times and people didn't realize that it's actually really the same. It's the same family. But I know that if you look up any Globe on Facebook and you go through, there are a lot of them that we have the same names. We're different legs of the same family. Uh, I don't know for sure when Abraham Glovinsky and his wife, I believe, was Clara, and their sons and daughter. It was Clara's daughter from a first relationship or marriage or whatever. I don't know if he died or something, but and Abraham raised her as their own. But I don't know for sure that all the sons came here together when Abraham came here. I don't know if Deborah came here. I don't know what happened. From what I understand, Abraham was kind of the freewheeling, quote unquote, Orthodox Jew. He wasn't at home a lot. He drank a lot. There's rumors that he might have had other wives and other children that probably didn't know of each other. It would be hard with the last name Levinsky because there
Yes,
were so many of them. Anyway, you got to go.
I gotta go. Food for another thought. And the other thing too that I was going to for both you and my friend is that Find a Grave is normally a really good tool for research, but for some reason I don't know if it's a Jewish thing or what, but they don't like putting the information out there as far as like the tombstones and because usually I could go to like right now I'm working on this one person and I can go back 10 generations because all the information is on the site. But for some reason, your family and her family didn't want to share
Yep.
information. And also, there was a lack of obituaries because usually obituary is a very good tool to find stuff. But so it makes it very difficult. It's one of those things where I have to maintain contact with the client that's Jewish to continue asking questions. Hey, do you know about this? Do you know about this? And then when you get the damn name job, like you say, the family, almost like there's a one family split like this. And it's
Abraham and Clara are dead.
it gave me a
I
headache.
believe all the brothers, including my grandfather Harry and their sister, which I believe was Deborah. I believe they're all dead.
Yeah. So am I. See ya.
Okay, Randy's dead. Let's see. My grandmother, Nana, Harry's wife, has passed away. Let's see. All three of their children, my father Mort, who was the youngest, and Uncle Larry, who was the middle, and Aunt Janice, who was the oldest, they have all passed away. Still have cousins from and aunts and maybe uncles from no, let's see. Aunt Janice and Uncle Jackie aren't passed. Uncle Larry is passed, and Claire's still alive, and I have cousins. And my dad passed, and my mom is still here. And I have brothers and sisters, and that's probably more information than you need to know. I'll talk to Randy. Anyway, Randy loves doing genealogy. Lives, breathes, eats, sleeps, does it. Goes to bed every night with a bunch of devices on his bed so that if he wakes up in the middle of the night, he can't sleep or has to do something, remembers something, goes and looks it up. So talk to him. His rates are the lowest of anybody I know on Facebook who does it. Professionals, I have heard crazy stories. They're anywhere from 400, 500, 1,000 a month to maintain your trees. Randy is the lowest. Last I heard, don't quote me, I believe it was $250 a month. And but he delivers results. He will go and find them. So go to the Randy Rhodes Facebook page and message him on it. Go to the All Roads Lead to Home group. That's RHODES, All Roads Lead to Home group. All Roads Lead to Home - genealogy is another group. And message Randy. And I know his thing used to be in as little as 15 minutes. I think he can go back 5 generations. He's got a questionnaire. You give him basic answers to it, and he'll go and do the rest. And usually he will come back to you with 5 generations and ask you to decide on whether or not you want him to keep going. And it's fun to have it done because it's always interesting to learn your family and know your roots. But at the same time, you might find out that you are the next in line to be the King of England. You might find out that you're the next in line to be the King of the United States. I don't know. I hope we don't have a king. But anyway, I digress. Good morning, David Novar. It's a pleasure to see you here. And I'm going to take one more look before we go and see. We are at 152 people watching live right now. Plus, sometimes it goes up a little bit later when the podcast hits in about 10 or 15 minutes. So take a look at that. We shared it to a bunch of groups. I hope if you watched it, you shared it to a bunch of groups and gave it a thumbs up. And I hope you invite your friends to watch and they do the same thing. I've been talking about Mondays and Wednesdays, possibly giving them up because it gets to be a little tight sometimes. Not really. I mean, I have the easiest broadcast of any broadcast I know. We just come on and start talking. And I hope that you learn something. Or if you're in the live chat, you tell us to shut up and start talking about something else. I always call it politics and whatever comes out of our mouths because it may not always be politics. Pretty much our shows pretty much are. I go on to other broadcasts, the American Rebellion with Jerry Michaels, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday, 7 p.m. You can catch it on the American Rebellion blogger page here on Facebook, and you can catch it over on the American Rebellion page over on Winkin, Wimkin. And I think he's going back to Rumble. You have to listen to him for more details on that. And every once in a while, you'll see him on our Tuesday and Thursday night live. But really, it's like I tell people, I have the easiest thing in the world. I don't have to sit down and find all the fancy graphics and music that Randy Rhodes and other people do. And it's an important part of their show, so don't discount it. I just want to hear what you're thinking. Because you hear what I'm thinking. I talk for an hour and a half. You hear what I'm thinking, but I want to hear what you're thinking. We want to hear what you're thinking. You're always welcome to come on to a Boogie with the Bull broadcast. Monday, Wednesday, the 10 a.m. morning caffeines. Tuesday, Thursday night live, 7 p.m. Eastern. If you want to come on a broadcast, you got to let me know about an hour before. So 6 p.m. for the 7 p.m.s on Tuesday and Thursday, 9 a.m. for the 10 a.m.s on Monday and Wednesday. Friday, it's just Bill Muckler and I read Friday Morning Caffeine. And we talk about, remember everyone deployed. And we listen to Bill's commentary, and I question him sometimes, and sometimes I ask him Looney Tunes questions, but pretty much I want to know what he's thinking. He is a retired Marine captain, an entrepreneur, a father. I don't know if he has grandchildren. I've never asked him. But 89 years old and still chugging along, has an opinion, very conservative Republican. So it's a pleasure to have him on Fridays, 10 a.m. But Friday at 10 a.m., it's usually just Bill and I, and then live chats are open on YouTube and on Facebook, and we go from there. So with 152 of you watching, I'm very glad that you did. Please come back on Wednesday, and we will do it again. And I will make sure I'm on time. Like I said, I woke up this morning, and I just was so rested and didn't want to get out of bed. It was just really that comfortable. And it's not a new bed. It's an old bed, a couple of years old, I think. No, yeah. We bought it when we moved to Florida. So we've only had it about 3 years. And but it's comfortable. Anyway, you've been watching Boogie with the Bull, Monday Morning Caffeine, a copyrighted presentation of the No Budget Broadcasting Company. You may use any portion of this broadcast however the hell you want if you do your own broadcast. I hope that you use it in a way that positively promotes our broadcast. Or even if you're going to correct me for doing something wrong, then at least invite me to be on your broadcast so I can learn what you think I did wrong and or defend what I did. We have no rules. We just want to drink coffee and today eat candy corn and get this week started. So stick around. The American Rebellion tonight at 7, tomorrow morning, tomorrow 12 noon, catch Straight Talk with Randy and Jen, 7 o'clock, Tuesday night live. Wednesday, join us back here for Wednesday Morning Caffeine at 10 a.m. Then 7 p.m. is the American Rebellion. And then Thursday morning, nothing. 12 noon, catch Randy and Jen, Straight Talk with Randy and Jen. At 12 noon, then Thursday night live with us. Friday night, you go back to the American Rebellion at 7 p.m. Anyway, it's getting so confusing, I'll start posting anyway. So I'll try to get you all the information that you need. And on that note, go join our groups. We're pushing our MAGA groups right now really hard as we get closer and closer and closer to the campaign. Our Trump supporting groups and our MAGA groups, we're pushing them very hard. So if you get an invite, take a look and join and invite your friends to join. Anyway, I'm Dave Bloom, and I thank you for the privilege of letting me abuse your time. Double B's for victory. This Boogie with the Bull broadcast is going to come to an end. We will